See. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had to turn on some light. Oh, and there goes my camera. Good Lord, I'm just a mess today. All right, good afternoon, all you success engineers. This is Mark Dudek, the Hardscape hacker, coming at you. Um, don't mind if I look down. This is going to be a quick thing. I got my notes sitting on my lap, so I'll make sure I cover everything that I wanted to cover. The first thing I wanted to cover is how, when, and where to install hardscapes. How, when, and where. How, first of all, if you've got some DIYer in you, more power to you. Do your research first. Make sure that you get the right materials. Look at some options on paper before you actually put them in your yard. That way you don't have the guilt of, let's say, like you're painting a room. You know, you pick a color that looks amazing in the store and you get home and put it in your room. Not so much. So do the same due diligence with your hardscapes. If you're going to put in a border around a garden or a small retaining wall, certainly they sell retaining wall blocks and things at like Lowe's, Home Depot. You can get them just about anywhere. Landscaping supply houses, things like that. As far as when, you can install hardscapes any time of year. Depending on where you live, of course. Like I'm in North Carolina, we have different seasons. It's actually nice and sunny today, but it's been cold. We've had snow, things like that. So those are certainly obstacles in my field when I go to talk to potential clients as far as installing water features, ponds, and things like that. You know, it's hard to deal with concrete in the wintertime when it's 20, 30 degrees outside. But if you're going to do it at home, by yourself, if you got some DIYer in you, like I said, everybody that's chiming in, I appreciate, or everybody that's jumping in, I appreciate you. Glad y'all are here. If you would hit some hearts and likes and tag 3 people and share it out. I'm trying to get as much coverage for this as I can. This is a lot of information that I'm going to cover fairly quickly. So take notes because there's going to be some value. But like I said, hit the hearts, hit the likes, share it out, tag 3 people if you would. So back to the when. Depending on your region, you can install hardscapes any time of year. Depending on what you want to install, just do, like I said before, do your research. Make sure you plan it out. Get all your bases covered before you start, because you don't want, with something major like that, you don't want to regret it once it's done. I've been to numerous clients where they had their buddy, the handyman, come in. Hey Richard, my brother, how you doing? They had their handyman buddy come in and do let's say a paver walkway. I've come across tons of those, believe me, especially here in North Carolina. A lot of people like pavers for some ungodly reason. With all the rain we've been getting, I'm sure I'll get a lot of phone calls. Pavers, with all the rain, the ground's going to sink. The pavers are going to be uneven. You could possibly trip, break your ankle, and seriously injure yourself. So that's the main reason I don't agree with pavers. I never have, never will, even before I started doing hardscaping. Hey Carrie, how you doing, cuz? Love you. So pavers is a big issue, but if you're going to have your buddy, the handyman, do some work, for example, a paver walkway or something, make sure that you do your research. Make sure that they're doing their research, and make sure it's correct. If you don't think you can get to that point, then by all means call a professional in. You would much rather have it done right the first time than do it 2 or 3 more times. So that'll cover the how and the when. Where, again, you can install hardscapes anywhere. A lot of people do them in their backyards, maybe some minor ones in the front yard, maybe a border around the planter bed or the garden or something like that. And of course walkways as well. You definitely want to get the most bang for your buck. So you want to, again, do your research. With everything I'm going to cover, make sure you do your research. Look online, get reviews for companies, go to the sites like Home Advisor, Porch.com, things like that. Ones that they're going to research and vet the professionals, if you're going to call a professional. like I said, most people do them in their backyards, say a big outdoor kitchen project, patio, pergola, things like that. If they have a pool, they're going to do a nice, huge water feature around the pool. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Chris. It's same here. If I had a nickel for every time I got a phone call to come and fix something that was installed, I'd be rich. But and I have done a few. I prefer not to, but I like to do all new installations, start from scratch. Um, but you're going to have your nice big water feature with your pool in the front, maybe something small, like I said, a border around a garden or a planter area, flower bed, something like that. And with my company, I do all of that. I've done several of each type of project that you can imagine. We do retaining walls. We do, of course, the water features. Our biggest seller is of course, the one I advertise all the time is the tree stump fire pit. I'm actually getting ready to meet up with Kurt Balish of Balish Woodworks this month, and we're going to look at a huge project over on his property. We're going to get him hooked up. He wants to incorporate some of his woodworking with our concrete, and I just think it'll mesh really well. It's going to look awesome, and of course, I'm sure we'll both document it and share pictures and probably some videos too. So that's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. So to review that part, how if you get, like I said, if you got some DIYer in you, somebody that's good with stuff like that, then by all means have at it. Just do your research. I beg of you, do your research. When, depending on your area, any time of year is fine. If you live like out on the West Coast where I'm originally from, any time of year, literally. If you get more towards the Midwest and the East Coast, you're going to have those changing seasons, so it's going to make it a little bit difficult. You're going to have things to contend with, like the snow, all the rain, like we've been getting here in North Carolina, things like that. So you got to plan accordingly. Of course, always plan ahead. Make sure that you set a budget. Let me say that again. Make sure you set a budget. Do your research, set your budget. All these things also are, and I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end. All these things are covered in my ebook, and I'll give you all the link at the end of this. If anybody's having a hard time hearing me, I'm sorry. It's probably these earbuds that I've got. I got to get some new ones. I don't have a professional microphone. I don't have professional lighting, things like that yet. So I'm working up to it. I'll get there. But for now, it's just the earbuds. Believe me, the earbuds is a lot better mic than on the phone. If anybody else is having problems hearing me, let me know. I'll try to speak a little bit louder. I'll do what I can to accommodate. So the when, the how, when, and where. How, of course, you can do it on your own, but I advise calling a professional. When, any time of year, depending on where you live at, make sure you go in accordance with the seasons if you have those. All my friends back in California, of course, there is no season. It's summer year round.